Now I feel like I'm about to take my life in my hands, but I'm told I have to try out these pulleys, and the aim is to see which one is easiest or on which one I feel lighter. Here we go. Well, this one certainly isn't easy. This one is a lot easier. And the reason I feel lighter on this pulley is because the weight is shared by 4 ropes, whereas you've only got 2. Now I know some of you may have read about pulleys in textbooks, but this is a very good example of learning by doing.
People are less inclined to write a letter these days when you can make a phone call, but there are times when you have to write a formal letter. Say you're applying for a job, you're writing to your bank, or you're writing a letter of complaint. Now there's a standard format to the layout of the letter on the page, and here are a few guidelines for writing that formal letter.
Start with your own address in the top right-hand corner of the page. This is so that the person you're writing to can contact you. The name and address of the person you're writing to goes here on the left, a few lines down. This is so that the letter gets to the right person or department. You should always include the date you're writing the letter. Put it here under the address. The date is very useful because if several letters are passing between you, you can identify them by the date. The greeting comes next. The greeting in a formal letter is the Dear Mr. Ryan bit. If you don't know the name of the person you're writing to, then simply write Dear Sir or Madam. You're ready then to write the main part of the letter. Now try to keep it short and state your business in the first paragraph so your purpose in writing is clear and will get the reader's attention immediately. For example, I am writing to apply for the position of sales assistant. You close the letter with Yours sincerely and then sign off with your signature. Your signature is simply the way you sign your own name. It's a good idea to practice writing your signature. Lastly, be sure to check all your spellings before sending the letter. Use a dictionary or ask someone if you have any doubt about difficult words.
Hi, it's Ian Robertson here again. Think about the last time you ate an apple. Where were you? Who were you with? What kind of an apple was it? Now, did you think in words or in pictures mainly when you remembered eating the apple? Most people probably used words. I want you now to try and think back to the last time you ate an apple, but this time I want you to remember yourself eating it in pictures. Close your eyes. Try to visualize it. See it in your mind's eye. What color is it? Notice the round shape, the little dents in it, the angle of the stalk. Now touch it. Feel the hard, round shape. Bite into it. Feel the acid taste of the juice in your teeth. And finally, hear it. Hear it crunching inside your head. Did you notice the difference between these two ways of remembering the last time you ate an apple? The first was based largely with words. The second was more like traveling back in time and actually being there using pictures. Now we can think in words or we can think in pictures, but we'll remember and learn better if we use both. Schools tend to focus on words, but there are many people who are not that good using words, but who are brilliant with pictures, the mind's eye, visualization, call it what you will. So the next time you have to learn or remember something, try and make mental pictures, mental sound, mental touch. For instance, if you want to learn the spelling of a word, don't just run it through the word part of your brain here. Remember, you have a top-range Mercedes inside your head, and just using this part of the brain is a bit like traveling in first gear. Move up a gear. Make mental pictures of the letters of the word in your mind's eye. Remember, your amazing brain can do lots of amazing things if you just learn how to change gear.
To help you deal with long words, you can break them down into smaller parts known as syllables. Look at this word plastic. Now say it out loud. Plastic. Notice it has 2 parts or beats. Plastic. So we say the word has 2 syllables. The word formal also has 2 syllables. Formal. Here's a 3-syllable word. Habitat. Habitat. Notice that a syllable is a single sound in a word. Habitat. It is usually the smallest part of the word that can be said. The word environment has 4 syllables. Environment. By saying each sound or syllable in a long word like environment, you will find it easier to recognise and spell the word.
Bridget's motivation and approach to learning has meant that she's made great progress, despite her dyslexia.
Now, in the class, we've just started this procedure of writing a learning journal each time. How do you find it? Do you feel it's a good idea?
I suppose, in a way, it's kind of learning more about yourself and how you feel about learning. So you're putting it down. Like, you know, it'd be good to look back on, say, at the end of this course, you know. That's how you felt at the beginning, you know.
We'll show you the progress you made as well. The things you found difficult at the beginning that maybe you found easier at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
It's something actually that's never done in school. I think it's possibly something that a child can't do. Even a child, a very bright child from a very privileged sort of background, I think couldn't do it. I think that's something that an adult is able to do. They're able to look at what they've learnt and analyse it.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the advantages an adult has over a child. And in fact, that's the way you've tackled your spellings. I mean, you've tried to analyse what the problems
that's what
are.
I'm doing. I'm analysing all the time. I absolutely love learning. I really do. You know, I'm hungry for knowledge. I mean, I don't like when I have to actually sit down, and, as I say, because it's a chore for me, and it probably always will be. But it's getting easier. It's not, I don't find it as hard as it was. It is getting that little bit easier. At the moment, I'm doing a course this year. It's called the VTAC Level 1. So and they'll just keep coming because I want to keep doing them all. I'm so proud of myself. I mean, I don't mind saying it. I'm just proud. And I don't care if I tell the whole world.
There isn't one best style of learning, but some situations do call for the use of one style more than another. In some situations, you have a definite advantage using one particular approach rather than another, say a visual approach in reading and spelling. So if you work out what's your preferred approach, then you can play to your strengths, or you can develop your weak areas if another approach would work best. Remember, the auditory types, the listening types, mightn't always be the best at spelling. English isn't a phonetic language, so words don't always sound the way they look, but it's the look of the words that matters in spelling. So brush up your visual skills. Many people enjoy doing crosswords, and all crossword puzzles follow the same format. They're usually laid out like this, with small boxes into which you write the letters. In a crossword, words can run across or down the page. The clues are written out in 2 lists. Clues for words which run across the crossword, and clues for words which run down the crossword. Each clue has a number which matches up to a number in the crossword. Starting with the clues across, the first clue is, all plants need this. The clue has the number 5 in brackets. This means that the word we're looking for has 5 letters. Water fits in nicely. The clue for number 4 across is, we should not waste this. And now we're looking for a 6-letter word. Energy has 6 letters and fits in. Now look at the clues for the words down. The clue for 1 down is what we breathe. Now, since we've already completed 3 across, we have an extra clue, because we can see that we're looking for a 3-letter word ending in R, and so air is a fairly safe bet. And finally, 2 down. All of this should be put in the bin. We're looking for a 5-letter word containing an A and an E, and the word waste is just right. If you'd like some help with anything we've covered in the programme, call 1800 20 20 65. There's a team of specially trained tutors standing by to take your call and to go through the learning with you. Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's free and confidential, so call now. Now, we covered a lot of ground this week, and here's another look at some of the areas we dealt with.
We looked at the different styles of processing information, of thinking and learning.
Check out your own style. Are you a looker, a listener, or a doer? Lookers are visual learners, learn by picturing things in their mind, and they like to work with images or pictures. Listeners find it easier to learn by listening, and they often like repeating information out loud. And doers, they prefer to get stuck in and to learn by trying things out.
To work out an average temperature, first add all the temperatures, 8 degrees, 10 degrees and 15 degrees. Then divide the total by the number of days, in this case 3, which gives you an average temperature of 11. And you can use the same rule to work out the average of lots of things: ages, football scores, weight or height.
Work out the style of learning that you favour, because this will allow you to work on your strengths and to develop your weaknesses. People often indicate their preferred style in the expressions they use. Visual types use expressions like, "that looks good to me," whereas listeners might say things like, "that sounds right to me," and the doers might use expressions like, "that feels right to me."
We looked at doing crosswords. All crosswords follow the same basic format. The numbers in the boxes of the crossword correspond with the list of clues for words running down and across the crossword. The number in brackets after each clue indicates the number of letters in the word you're looking for. Crosswords are a great way to sharpen up your spelling skills to learn new words. Remember, no one gets all the answers right first time. The fun of crosswords is in all the guesswork that you have to do.
Most people use a mixture of styles, but there are some situations which call for the use of one style rather than another. For instance, in spelling, visual learners have an advantage over users of other styles because English isn't a phonetic language, so words don't always sound like they look. But in spelling, it's the look of the word that matters.
Breaking words down into syllables is a very useful way of spelling long or difficult words. A syllable is a single sound in a word, usually the smallest part of a word which can be said. For example, a word like formal has 2 syllables, formal, whereas environment has 4 syllables, environment.
And finally, when writing a formal letter, the layout is quite important. Your address goes here in the right-hand corner of the page, and the address of the person you're writing to goes here on the left side. And underneath this, you put the date. Dear Mr. Ryan, or Dear Sir or Madam is the correct greeting. And underneath that, you start the main content of the letter. Keep it short and to the point, and then sign off with yours sincerely, followed by your signature.
Well, that's it from W5.
Next week, we'll be visiting Pobl Scoil Neasson in North County Dublin to check out what makes a good learning environment.
Until then, goodbye.